Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Approved Show, where we review and vote for the best VFX movies.
My winner is...
My select for the approval is...
I am going for the same vote as Matt.
And some unexpected things went down. Your vote is very important.
Why?
Okay, so what's your vote? But first, let's meet our guests.
I'm Gabriel Pierce. I'm really happy to be here again and again.
Hey, this is your favorite German compositor, Sebastian Schitt, and I'm happy to be back.
Hi there, my name is Matthew Kiefer, and I'm happy to be back here on the Approved Awards Show. How you doing?
Hey, my name is Awanawa, and I'm very happy to be invited to join the show.
I'm Ehtemami, and welcome to the Approved Show. Thanks again for joining me for episode 2. Can you believe it? With all the headache last time with the equipment, but yeah, this time is more proper. Yeah, so also thanks everyone for joining us. Yeah, how do you feel?
Let's see.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, yeah, right, going to the topic today is again some Persian production, but this time is only episodic series. Yeah. Any questions?
Are you going to tell us if you worked on any of these before?
Maybe at the end. No, honestly, I haven't worked. I just barely work on one of the shows. Like I just touched a shot before I left my country and joined Rising Sun in Australia. So I just touched the shot and kind of finish it and just say goodbye to the team. Yeah, that's all. No, I didn't work.
Okay, so that's our
No
goal,
secret.
to look for the shot that has the Ali magic in it.
Yeah, let's find it. Okay. At the End of the Night is a miniseries.
Like that shot.
Yeah, I don't know why they changed something and then put everything on it. Yeah, I like these shots.
Why do we know
Yeah.
why the actor, they couldn't schedule them like to shoot at the same time or something?
But they're twins.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I didn't
they're
get that.
twins, actually.
Oh.
Also, I watched the series and I didn't notice any of those work.
Right.
Like, no, the
Yeah.
background work, not the twin guys.
How did it feel watching the face replacement? Because they probably showed us the best shots or what they thought were the
Yeah.
best shots. And some of these shots, you can see it's a little bit like too smooth, you know, like because
Yeah.
I know of
The
course
ear
as
is
well.
just
So
crazy.
I don't know how it feels watching the show, right?
I assume they've done some just like light filter on it, but I didn't know they use keen tools and deepfake to change the UV of the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they work on the chin also.
Yeah.
Like the double chin, yeah, here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's sort of like a beauty fix for her eye and stuff. That probably goes really unnoticed on the movie. But his de-aging, like sometimes it probably feels like, if you know that's happening, especially, it probably feels like very noticeable.
Yeah, the only thing I noticed was the snow because it's super slow.
Yeah.
I didn't see enough depth behind the characters and yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the
It looks
previous-
like just overlay on top.
Yeah, it doesn't respond to the light of the
Yeah.
scene.
The previous shot, there was like some out of focus snow falling that was kind of didn't feel like was correctly
Yeah.
in there.
Like nice book, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so first one. Starting from the other side, everyone's favorite German compositor, Sebastian.
So I still have some time to gather my thoughts, but I guess I was just stuck just now, like when you pointed me out, thinking about that frame, the image, the photo frame that they have. So I guess it's good that they were going for capturing the reflections in on camera, because I still keep seeing sometimes that people seem to be afraid and just like, I don't know, have it like painted green or like solid constant green on top of
Yeah,
it, and then
yeah.
you have to fake reflections on top of that.
Yeah, it was a wise decision on set, like they think about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know many people just put some like green tape on the glass
Yeah.
or remove the glass, you know, because it's like making it hard to do comp work. Let's remove everything. Let's clean it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if green was needed, necessarily to like replace the.
So how will you do? You
inside?
put a black thing behind it?
Yeah,
Because you
I
need to
guess-
capture the reflection.
Yeah, exactly.
like
Yeah,
a black,
but
yeah.
probably would have just like kept it black, I guess.
I would do black for its greens. Yeah, because like when you have like green spill on the finger, however, for
Yeah.
relighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for
That's-
that one, because
that's-
it's not emitting light, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually, with the emitting light. Yeah. But yeah, in this case, I think that could have been saved maybe. But the rest, let me think about it.
How do you think about the de-aging stuff?
Yeah, that I found a bit over the top for some of the shots for sure. Like it looks like very, very smooth, right? And then it's hard to kind of like connect in a way. It looks almost like alien a little bit, you know. Yeah, I think that could have been like to maintain some mimic, like facial expressions. I guess that could have been done better.
Also, it was a long sequence or series of sequences, like 3 sequences, a lot of shots doing that.
Yeah.
It wasn't just some selected shots doing all the face work.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other stuff. I mean, I also don't want to take away too much. Actually, maybe we skip to over to Matt. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
For other
Matt.
shots, I guess.
Oh yeah, speaking about the machine learning and the de-aging, some of those shots were very successful. That close-up of the woman where like most of what was done was just changing a few subtle things under the eye. That was great because they got to keep a lot of the natural character of the face and just remove a few things that sort of cued you into it being, you know, a younger version of the character. Obviously, yeah, some of those shots where the guy was turning his head, or like when they were in a bus or a train or something, the lights were sort of moving. The roll-off around the light around the face was not very realistic and really stood out with the smoothness. Yeah, they needed to maintain a bit more detail in the skin, I think. There were some characteristics of skin that you really lost in those moments.
Yeah. Okay, over you, Gabe.
No, I think overall, like as we were talking before, the compositing and the visual effects in general, it felt more natural than the other time we reviewed like the actual feature films, which was kind of cool to see. But I think a lot of what they're attempting to do, except for the de-aging of the face, is way simpler VFX than what the movies were doing, right? A lot of, at least from this reel, like there's a lot of green screens, which can be tricky.
Yeah.
And they were nicely executed for the most part, at least the ones on the reel. They seem like they're nicely executed, but it is way less ambitious than the other stuff we saw, except for the face de-aging, which without seeing the performance, I don't know how well it works. I did feel like it felt a little bit like too makeup-y, you know, like just like super smooth. But maybe when you're watching the show, you don't get hung up on it, or maybe it doesn't work for the performance.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but yeah, like switching the whole face de-aging is always kind of tricky. So I don't blame them for not getting 100% right.
Cool. Yeah. And Irvan.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty successful overall. The face, the aging, I think the first 2 shots in the reel are a bit weaker than the rest, where there was kind of obvious and took me out of it a little bit. But then some other shots in it, I didn't really think about it much and just kind of like, yeah, okay, like he's just younger.
Yeah.
So I think there was a range of success in there. There's definitely one of the, I think it was the second one in the reel, where just around that eye was just like really shiny and smooth, and that was kind of like the one that's a bit uncanny.
Yeah. Also, I believe they put it like a promise or something for shooting that sequence, so the overall look was a bit different, because like they were showing like 10 years ago when those like the couple meet each other. So yeah, I guess they did something in camera also, like it's more smooth.
Yeah.
I believe, I'm not sure. Yeah.
That said, it works, and it didn't take me out of it as much as some stuff I've seen even on like some recent other shows where I was like, "Oh, this is really jarring." It was like, "Okay, that's okay."
Yeah.
Can we name names?
Yeah. Can you name one?
I will not name names.
Yeah, just one.
I will not name names.
What do you think about the deepfake stuff on Alien Romulus?
I've not seen it, so I can't comment on that. I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't seen it. So I don't know.
What do you think, Matt? Matt worked on it. But we haven't worked on deepfakes, like the faces. I guess Island did.
I actually don't remember which company was the other vendor on that one. Yeah, I did work on Alien Romulus. I didn't work on any of the deepfakes of the Bishop or Rook character, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate because the work that we did on Alien Romulus, we put a lot of effort into some really, really high quality, fully CG, highly complex executed visual effects.
Yeah.
And the showrunners seemed to really like it. They really liked all the work we did. And they were very keen to pay a lot of money for things that didn't have a lot of screen time. I sort of feel like if they had put that same level of effort and money into a digital character for the android, they could have gotten something way better out of it than the deepfake.
Yeah. Okay, so the next reel, The Island. I just want to quickly pause it here. Have you watched the movie Island, 2005? Very young Scarlett Johansson and the other guy, I don't remember. For obviously, I remember the other guys.
Is it Ewan McGregor? No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like one of the very first movies that I noticed VFX in. I was like a kid, but you know, the train moving, like hovering on the ground.
Probably one of my favorite Michael Bay movies.
Yeah. It was a Michael Bay movie. Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that movie. I probably never watched it.
Yeah,
Is there a CG shark in that one? I think I'm remembering some kind of CG sea creature. Not like a big one, but a very small scene when they're on the beach.
There was a lot of like ambitious.
Are you mistaking the beach and the island?
Maybe that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
What is the island about?
It's like about like a human cloning factory, and two clones trying to escape the factory.
Yes, I've seen that
And
movie,
they have told, we are sending you to the island. It was like a very beautiful place, but they actually like ripping out.
You win the lottery. We're gonna send you to this
Yeah.
beautiful place, and actually they just harvest your organs.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
It's very similar to that movie, DHX.
EHX.
Yeah, isn't like the DHX like the sound system?
I
No,
don't
THX.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
THX.
THX.
Like it's like one of the first George Lucas's movies.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
actually really similar to that movie. Like the story is very, very connected. Like in a way, like it's like without spoiling, but spoiling because it's like I don't know, like a 50-year-old movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a bunch of people that live in like a dome or whatever, like enclosed, and
Like a
they try
colony.
to escape, like a colony kind of like that. I think there's a lottery system as well, so it's like it's very much the same thing.
Maybe adoption or a copy.
But like the island, they have like outside people.
Yeah.
And then they have their clones living in this like area. Yeah.
Yeah, and the outside people are very rich.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Actors, designers.
So I think that's the difference because I think on THX,
Not VFX artists.
Not VFX
No.
artists, yeah.
yeah, I think on THX like everything outside is like kind of like I don't know if it's like was apocalyptic and now it's nicer or something like that.
Okay, the island.
Oh, there it is.
That's the island.
Is that the opening credits or?
No, it's just the intro for the breakdown.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the breakdown was 16 minutes. I have to cut it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have 16 minutes of footage in my entire reel so far.
Not holding up so well.
Yeah.
Lens dirt everywhere, even in the sky. We are not adding lens dirt anymore in our shows. They never called for lens dirt.
We did add some on the last show that I was working on.
Oh my God, I would have almost thought the cars are CG for some reason.
Oh, look at the reflection thing on the wing. Okay. That's a nice job to try to add a reflection. Or just a silhouette of the character.
The second shot of the reel actually worked really well with on the tarmac.
Yeah. Look at those highlights. They are definitely like value of 80.
Brighter than the sky.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh.
The nets. Okay.
Ooh, black
Who's
lemons.
gonna root to
Yeah.
that? Oh, they changed it completely. Ooh. Nice job.
Yeah, this reel seems less successful than the previous one so far.
Oh. It's pretty close to what we do on Doom Prophecy. Oh no. The green screen was see-through. It's in behind. It's a wide range of effects on the show.
Yeah, it's a
pretty
lot of
hard
stuff.
job. Look at those slow motion splashes. Oh my god.
The water.
Oh, that's
It's bad stuff.
Turn to
A lot
pebbles.
of foam there.
The wide shot of the ocean was actually looking pretty good.
Yeah. For the close-ups. Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, I don't think they got the scale of the sim quite well.
That guy was wet for 10 hours
Yeah.
on the set.
I mean, but they had a set with water in a boat. On
Yeah.
it, like.
Yeah, they put a huge effort both on set and for VFX.
Like I when I was watching this, I imagined they had someone like rigged, but not on actual water, right? Like just like some platform or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the surfaces work better than the splashes, right?
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
The turntable is better than the final result.
The foam like doesn't really help.
Oh, that's how people drive in Vancouver.
Oh.
Yeah, like the level of green screen from this show, like the output is way worse than the previous one.
Yeah, obviously.
Because some of the keys don't work too bad, but then they put all the fake reflections on top and everything,
Yeah.
and it just
It was on top of everything, like all the frames.
But I don't think it's just the keys the problem. Like I think like whatever they're using as a background is not really like color wise and like level is not really syncing with the footage.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of post grading to achieve like a specific look of the lighting, which sort of pulls it out of realism a bit.
Yeah.
with the blurry distortion on the cracked mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I distort. Ooh. Oh, she's invisible.
What is this show about?
I don't
confused.
know, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I want to know more about laser monks. What are they all about?
It started very realistic
Yeah,
with like airplanes and helicopters and boats, and then I don't know what it went
Ended
into.
up like Black Widow.
Yeah,
like
just
the
like
ending sequence of Black Widow.
Ripping her
With the
face, and like a ghost with like a laser pointer. Just like what's happening?
Yeah, cool. That was a cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about what's the story about.
Yeah. So now, just for fun, let's start from this side.
Yeah, no,
Aaron.
yeah, definitely less realistic than the first reel that we've seen. This was. There was a couple of shots that I thought were really successful, like the second shot in the reel with the pulling out from their airplane.
Yeah.
So there was kind of the same shot twice. And when I saw the second one, I almost thought for a while that it was the before of the first shot. And I realized that it was CG as well. And I was like, okay, this one was kind of working.
Yeah.
Then it cut to the private jet, and that one just looked super CG.
Highlights and the color. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was just, it didn't feel integrated very much. The model seemed okay, but just the comp and lighting wasn't quite there. And then there was all the driving shots, stuff like that, where there was a mix of successful and mostly the reflections that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then
Everything set to a screen in the operation. I don't know why still people do a screen or add for adding reflection or dirt on the glass. Yeah.
But yeah, I think where it really took me out of it is the water simulation, where they tried really hard and they did a decent job, but it was just not.
Again, integration problems.
Well, I mean, water simulation is hard, and
Very hard.
I think we have seen some really good ones in the past few years, and so now seeing less good ones is difficult.
Yeah. Or you?
Yeah, overall, like way less successful than the previous one. Probably the only shot that I'd be like, yeah, that was like, that convinced me was I think it was the second shot that you mentioned where we're seeing through a window and the airplane is on the tarmac. But like the first shot, like it starts off like mildly okay, but then as you pull out from like, you know, the camera just like comes, like you see the whole airplane flying just like, it looks like a toy. a little bit. It just doesn't really...
I guess they replaced the whole plane. What they have shot, they put a whole CG plane on top of the window.
Yeah.
If they keep it played, I guess it was more successful.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it did. I think that the show was very all over the place story-wise. They had a lot of what it seems from the review. They had a lot of wide range of effects they needed to cover, and they probably didn't have enough time, budget, and planning to execute all of that. But that being said, I don't think the green screens, the simple quote-unquote shots of them driving were executed.
Yeah.
Immediately they look like green screens driving shots, and those are that quote-unquote the simplest shots that you could plan and execute, because they had a lot of effort into making the ocean sequence. They had the boat on the water, they had the simulation, which I agree didn't really look convincing. So it was very ambitious. And I was saying that on the other time we reviewed the shows as well. Like I was kind of looking for how you use the VFX to help the story and how ambitious you are, and kind of measuring like how ambitious, how much you needed the VFX, and how much you could tell the story to judge if it actually works or not.
Yeah.
And I feel like this one didn't far like it. It's like, a lot of problems in there.
Yeah. Or you, Matt?
It was sort of difficult to know exactly what they were getting at. Granted, I don't have any context for the whole show, but like tonally, the way that they were using visual effects seemed to change a lot from shot to shot. You had like the crazy shots with the face masks on the person. The plane shots were. They appeared intended to look very realistic and very grounded. The boat on the water, just looking at it in isolation, I almost would have expected that they were going for like the look of like Big Fish or Life of Pi, something like that. It had a sort of dreamy and artificial quality to it, where like these the characters are lost in a sea of something unknowable. But that sort of like bucks with everything else that was very realistic and grounded in it. Bloom around the edge of everything, lots of light bleed and color bleed in lots of places. It made it difficult to know where the eye was supposed to be led in some shots, which I think that's the problem right there. If your visual effects and your post work is taking away from what the scene is actually intended to imply, then you've sort of missed the mark a bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or you, Seb?
Yeah, to continue with the boat, I guess I like on the last episode there was one movie that we looked at where I said also nighttime shots where I said like I wish sometimes people would be a bit more bold maybe in terms of not showing everything or staying more true to like just one light source and not trying to like have like so much color bleed or so much lift on other areas. And especially with the water, I mean maybe they paid for it and then thought like okay we want to show it also but that could have helped quality wise maybe to not like show everything, like have some splashes come in here, maybe integrate it a little bit better with the boat. I noticed there was like kind of like a window of the boat that had like some like water drips like stuck on it that they prepared, right? But if maybe could have kept it clean and then like have some interaction with the water just to glue it a bit more together. Yeah. And then like I said, like be bold with the light and don't show everything. I think the impact would have been much more troublesome than just plainly showing it all. The mask, I said like I like the glue stuff, okay, but if that was practical, I didn't like too much the effect of like after the rip off, like that looked like very smooth, like Voldemort style a bit. But yeah, I think mainly the boat that night sequence was what I kept thinking about. That could be a bit more, not necessarily going all the way Game of Thrones. I can't see anything, but a bit more guided and highlighted, like you said, like it was sometimes hard to see. And
like there were story points, obviously, where it's like the wave is cresting over the boat, and that seemed like an important moment. Where some of those shots definitely needed to happen, but the one we all kind of groaned about, where the water splashed up on the surface and was just kind of rolling around, like pull it back a little bit. Is that moment important? Just pull it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it says once upon a time in Tehran, in Iran, but the Farsi name is Khatun, which is just a lady name. Yeah. Okay.
So what? Sorry. So just internationally, this was the title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also 2 vendors work on this show. So yeah, the first part is for Azar VFX, the next part is for IFA.
Work there. Already, this is a lot more successful than the last one.
Yeah. And they have done all those creatures just only for a couple of shots. Nice. Talking about integration, that was really successful. Yeah. So this set is like the old Tehran set is actually exists, but they extended like the far background or the buildings. Oh, yeah, a lot of extension.
A little texture in the back there
Yeah.
would have helped. Ooh.
Ooh. I wish those screens wasn't there. You know, if just people dancing in the background, it was easier to keep than the actual green screens.
Successful here
Yeah.
stuff. Is this a different vendor from the first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a vendor that did the first reel.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those leaves, green leaves.
They use a bit of sky work too. Big like open blue and open black is a little. Well, I mean, night's a little bit different, but the open blue is a bit distracting.
Did they actually show the result of the shot with the green on green? I feel they just cut away.
Green on green?
The green leaves on the green background.
Ah,
They never show the result.
yeah, it was side by side.
Oh.
Yeah.
There were like a few of the car window things that didn't really work as well.
Yo. Too much white points.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of assets.
Yeah, really like big asset work, but the result wasn't.
The trees are super green.
Mm.
Shot it was not as successful.
Oh. The record play didn't work, I guess.
That looked good, but what was the goo on it? That is
Ooh,
photogrammetry.
key on that beard.
I don't like side by side.
No, it's hard to,
Yeah.
to judge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess these ones
Yeah,
are
the keys are not very.
yeah, not
good.
very successful. This one is cool. Why? Why they show it like that? Oh, nice.
Works.
Mm.
Yeah, that was one of the best shots
Yeah,
so
also
far.
just, yeah. I wish they put it first.
Trainers was not bad.
Yeah, the lighting was really working on that.
Ali, oh no.
No.
Oops.
Did you work on this one?
No. Okay.
Fast with that.
So, yeah, let's start from Seb.
Just to clarify, so two different reels from two different companies, right?
Yeah,
Was it? Okay, yeah. Because I feel like, yeah, but the first company
I was doing the airplane shot and the bomb
and
some
like crowd
city work,
extensions
the
as
bear
well.
shots.
There was a beach as well.
So
Yeah,
I feel like what the first company did really well, and for some reason where the second company seemed to struggle a bit, was kind of matching what is already in plate. It feels like, right? Because the first one, I kind of liked it. I always like it when they have when they know, you know, like the elements that we're going to replicate, that they at least have one item of that in the plate. Like, for example, the guy on the roof with that red flag or whatever it was, right? And then, okay, it's just straightforward work at that point then, right? If you want to match the extension to that, or the people at the beach. But that being said, like, even the crowd extension in the second reel worked also quite well. But there were a few other shots where you had clearly reference, and you know, you just have to like connect it, and for some reason it breaks, you know. And so that was interesting. In a lot of cases they didn't have it, to be fair, you know, where it was like plainly green screen, and then okay, maybe I can understand the struggle there, but yeah, not quite clear to me how it got so far off. But the first reel was really good, I find.
That's true. Yeah. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, and like you said, they made very good decisions on the way they shot things. They clearly thought about where the action was, where the viewer's eye was going to be, and what they were going to replace.
Yeah.
So they picked locations that matched the sort of aesthetic they were going for. I was like, okay, you had a very clear vision, and you picked CG assets to sort of accentuate the view without getting in the way. I think, especially early on, the first half of it had some really great examples of that. Yeah, one of the shots that really stuck out to me, or a series of shots that stuck out to me in the second half of it, was in depth. Things started to look a little bit weird. The depth treatment, both like the hazing and the focus plane. There was that one shot flying over the city in the daytime where there was like not a whole lot of depth haze until you reach the very far background. Seems like maybe the elements may have been done in different stages or by different departments. A bit of a disconnect there. And then, yeah, the color work wasn't fantastic in the second half. Lots of mismatched black levels and excessive contrast, sort of difficult to lead the eye. Again, it leads to a frame that's difficult to parse all at once.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. Were you, Gabe?
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo what they said about the first half of the reel. The first half of the reel was great. Like my favorite shot of the reel, I think, was a green screen that they had at some point. I think they replaced some buildings, and I think there was like the beach as well. But there's also some trees that they added. There were some added trees that were not in the plate that looked really good as well. There was a bunch of really nice work for integration. The aesthetics looked nice. The color grading was all like very pleasant. And to me, that was a stark contrast to the second half of the reel. And they had a huge asset buildup that they had to do for that whole, I'm assuming it's multiple episodes on that location where she's at the city that they built.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense to build that big asset if you're going to reuse it all the time. If you're going to matte paint those streets all the time, it's going to be way more costly than doing the asset way of doing that.
Yeah, there was a lot of shots in the actual walking in the city, and this show has 2 seasons. A lot of shots in the city, like maybe in total like 30 episodes. Yeah, each episode is like 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that makes a lot more cost efficient, you know, like when you're talking about that. But the execution of the asset and how they've done the green screens on that sequence was not working for me. There was a lot of shots where like the edges were not right. The focus was kind of, you know, the treatment was kind of weird. It didn't look like a real like defocus. Like the I don't know exactly how and why. Just looking quickly, that didn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
And there was some shots where the asset wasn't feeling like complete, or like the black levels are off, like the white points are off. There was like some weirdness in there.
Cool. Everyone.
Yeah, I mean, you guys said a lot already. Lots of challenging work on those 2 reels. Definitely the first reel, a lot more successful than the second one. There's one thing that nobody really talked about, and I want to be a little bit nitpicky on, is in the first reel, there's those bird shots.
Oh,
And
missing shadow.
integration could have been a little bit better, but one thing that really took me out is on the first one is they've got those birds on the branches, right? And then one of the branches sideways, but instead of keeping the bird vertical, the bird just kind of like rotated with the branch as well. And I was like, I mean, I guess the bird could stand that way, but I think they tend to stay vertical usually. And, it just took me out a little bit. But
That's a good point.
those birds look good, like the like especially for the scale at which we see them. Like when they zoomed in on the rig a little bit, it's like, oh, that looks a little bit low res, but if you don't see them hero, then that's fine. And these were cool shots. The integration, I think, could have been slightly better on the birds, because like when you see the shots, right away you're like, yeah, those are CG birds. But yeah, there was. I don't know.
Yeah, but I believe there are a lot of physics involved with the branches. You know, they should like remove the branch and put a CG branch there in the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been smart.
Yeah, it's tricky when you start like getting like moving like pieces of branches and some creature balancing on it. Yeah.
Puppet pins.
Well, there was that shot with the bird that I guess was like shot or whatever and fell to the ground.
Yeah.
That looked it was not very well integrated. That was really missing shadows and very flat looking. I wonder if they could have achieved that shot at least in part with a prop. If they had just tossed a prop and let it hit the ground and maybe done like a CG to prop takeover as it fell or something to get something that actually worked in the scene better.
Okay, so the last reel, called Frog. Frog, yeah.
Starring Persian Jean Reno.
I've seen that logo before. Is that?
Doing the first part of the
Oh.
Once Upon a Time in Iran. Yeah.
Fish and frogs.
They're showing a lot of the VFX here, but they're not showing a lot of the before and
Yeah.
afterwards.
Mm. Oh yeah, that was just the intro. Yeah.
Teaser.
Look at the reference, he placing a frog there. Love it.
Your favorite technique?
Yeah.
Oh, the CFX artist must have had a great time with this.
Ooh.
Good looking balloons.
Yeah. And very scary twinkle.
Do you know a bit about the story of this one?
It's about a drug called frog something. I don't know, frog sweat or something. Yeah, and it's
Also
about
they're
the
all-
dealer and his background, his childhood. Yeah.
So they're all tripping here or something, the people? Or
You're all licking frogs?
Yeah, actually they lick frog, yeah. Yeah, it was like if they lick the frog, I guess they can be controlled, like mind controlled. Like if that guy, the dealer said like kill somebody, they go and kill somebody. Yeah, something like that. I just
So
barely
every
remember.
dealer has their own signature frog that they you have to lick that specific dealer's frog.
Don't get too specific.
It's very you can already see
It's going in a bad direction.
It's quite inspiring that project, or like looks intriguing, triggering, So I can already see my head thing. So like visually, I would really be interested, not just visually, like from the content wise also, to watch it actually.
Yeah. Okay. So starting from you, Seb, you like it?
Yeah,
I
I
the
like.
technique.
I
of
See
Yeah,
him riding
yeah.
the frog right now.
Yeah, he's the frog. No frog was harmed. Maybe just the one in the production of this movie, but no, that looked cool. I think maybe the fire and smoke was maybe the weak spot. But yeah, I don't know. Like very like the image. I really like the images. Like the like the framing and how they staged it and all. So yeah, nothing.
And it's tricky
I don't
because
want
there was a lot of like surreal sequences.
Yeah.
Like the wing thing and
Yeah.
the hand POV. The hand was, the fingers were shaping differently. So
I mean, that's the trick you can play, or that card you can play, I guess, because the hand, took me out a little bit. But then obviously you can say like, I mean, they're just
yeah.
hallucinating. So whatever it looks like, it's just a dream. But yeah, the hand I didn't like too much either. But still, like all those different images and like all so much like of a different style of stuff happening. So very diverse as well in the work. Yeah, I just wish that I guess the effects would have been like the fire and smoke effects would have been a bit more on the same level.
Yeah.
But other than that, I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, that was a show I worked on. For one or two, there was one shot like removing the camera gear and railing stuff. It was pretty complex, all done in like projections and comp. with no reference, no CG ground or something. A lot of like stretches I need to fix. Also, one shot with a finger was caught, and I did like particle blood, like track the tip of the finger, and like render or simulate all those particles as like blood. Yeah, just to not much, but that was a cool try. I wish, I could work more on it. Yeah. Were you, Matt?
Yeah, it does look like they put a lot of development and thought into some of the more significant assets. Obviously, the frog and fish rain, they had to do an awful lot with that, and they showed it very quickly, but they did show like some of their simulations of, well, here's the CFX of the creatures falling, but also them landing on grass and them landing on bushes in the background. I thought that was really cool that they put a lot of effort into making sure things interacted with the scene, even beyond the direct plane of focus. Like in the background, there was a little bit that integrated it with the environment. All the shots with the fish and frogs felt really good. There's lots of diversity amongst the action. You could really read the motion very well. I think that a lot of the shots were very well composed.
Yeah, and the shadow and reflections worked really well. Yeah, under the truck I was watching. Yeah.
Yeah, iridescent and like wet creatures like fish and frogs, you know, probably very difficult to get that to read easily and get a good shape out of it, but the fish felt very realistic.
Cool, right. You Gabe?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clever to open the reel with those shots, not only because the show is called The Frog, I mean, at least in English it's called The Frog, but the shots itself, they look good. Like they were like hands-on, like the best shots on the whole reel, and that was like really worth like showing. I thought the other shot that was clever was like the red environment with the wings.
Oh, with the wings, yeah.
Because it's not only nice aesthetics of like the whole, and probably plays with like the whole, they're on drugs and like they're seeing stuff, but being the whole flat red color, it really helps to make the VFX way more believable in that sense. So that
Also,
was
I
really
believe
well played.
It's a bit hard to comp, you know, because if you have full range of color and comp, you can decide better, and you can put like a red filter on top of it. It doesn't work if you just put a red grade on top of everything. But, you know, I believe it's easier to comp if it's like in a natural color. But if it's only red, you have some limitation of judging.
Yeah, but like the end result, you have less to worry about. Like, I mean, you take away some of the choices you have to make the whole process believable if it's just like one flat color. Like sometimes you watch like just one of the channels. And, you know, like it's just like looks more believable, and then you watch the whole thing, like, you know, just flip to the RGB image and like, oh, what's wrong here? I think that was kind of clever and looks nice. The smoke and the fire were like the ones that I wouldn't really put on the reel, especially the fire on the hallway. That was kind of like,
Was a bit too motion blurry.
Yeah, like the colors were not really fire color. The simulation was like too magical. Maybe they wanted to do that. They have like the free get out of jail card. They're like, oh, they were on drugs. It's all right. But yeah.
Yeah, the explosions didn't work out too well either.
No, they didn't. And they didn't show any explicit compositing work for me to judge. Like green screens, they didn't have a lot of that on the reel. It was mostly like a lot of effects. I mean, there was some compositing obviously, but it wasn't like most of the other ones had a lot of, you know, let's show where we put a green screen. Let's show like, and that's like explicit compositing, only judgment of like, hey, how well did they do on the compositing side? This one, obviously there's compositing, but they relied a lot more on showing the effects and like some of the asset stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Or you, Irvan?
I mean, obviously the fish and frog was like chef's kiss, you know, it was beautiful. I really like that. I didn't really like the wings, the red room.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. It's getting interesting.
I think the comp looked good, but I didn't feel the connection of the wings and the character. It just kind of felt like they put wings behind her. I just didn't feel like...
Because the wing is behind her.
Yes, but I didn't feel that the wings are part of her.
Shadows maybe on the shoulder, something like that. I guess.
No, and it's always difficult to do, but you know, just like
there's no connection.
There's no acting in the way that she's acting and stuff. It just feels like somehow there's wings behind her.
Hovering.
But
weightless wings.
It's very hard to do that. So
it's a combination of on-set CG
and acting as well.
I didn't fully buy the one, but it looked good. It's funny, they tricked me in one of the shots because there was a shot when I first saw it, I was like, ooh, they comped that and it looked off. And then they showed the breakdown and then it was practical.
Was it the clowns?
It was the clowns.
I thought the same.
I was like, I saw the thing and I was like, oh yeah, they shot those clowns on the green screen and then they put that in that forest.
Yes.
Like they're overexposed compared to the background. And then they show the breakdown. I was like, oh no, it's all real. And then I was like, those balloons look great. So, you know, sometimes you think something is fake and it's real. And
I mean, those clowns were terrible, but they were actually terrible on plate. Not terrible, like sorry, but like, you know, they didn't look like they were there. But that's plate, and like, oh really? That's plate actually.
yeah, so I felt that I was like, oh yeah, hang on.
I guess maybe the costume was too clean or shiny or something.
Yeah, something like that, or maybe they had like some light that they decided to place off screen that was like just like really catching on those characters.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they felt very overexposed compared to the surroundings, which made me thought it was a comp. Yeah, good work overall. Like,
and like just to add like to this reel, like I thought visually this was the most I'm gonna say Hollywood looking reel.
The overall look like cinematography.
Yeah, the more like, you know.
Yeah. I watched the Israeli favorite and it was super high rated. So it's time for votes. You have your votes ready?
we do.
Yeah. Did you go with the easiest one to write?
No. I definitely avoided the hard one, but it wasn't because of the writing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, exciting. So let's start from Seb.
Hey, so my winner is because the visuals and the effects looked so good that you almost forget that it was CGI.
Cut that.
Is Grubage. Sorry.
Urbare, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we're showing that way. Okay.
Oh, I got that little French.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so are you mad?
Okay. For overall execution of visual effects, good planning, and some really beautiful shots, my select for the approval is Khartoum.
Oh,
Once Upon a Time in Iran.
awesome.
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was a very good use of the environment. And while I don't know the story, I feel like what I saw was really taking me to a very specific mindset and a specific time. So
Yeah, exactly.
I liked it a lot.
Nice, yeah. And you, Gabe?
I have something a little bit different here in the way that I'm approving this, but I am going for the same vote as
Is
Matt.
it in the list of the movies we saw today?
It is. No. It is in the movies that we saw today. I mean the series, but it is Khartoum. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
But I said approved-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a preference for which part of the reel?
Yes, I
yeah.
really like the first half of the reel, and I know the second half of the reel there's like a lot of big shots, but the first half is really good. Really takes you to like the show, and like I felt like I was immersed on what they were showing.
Yeah.
And to me that was great, and that was better than the competition to me. But the second half of the reel wasn't. They all had problems, but I approved-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's a nice choice. And who are
Nice.
you? Oh, your vote is very important.
Why?
Okay, so what's your vote?
So my vote is the frog.
Okay.
And forgive my
That's why your vote is important.
pronunciation. Grubage.
Okay, yeah, that's.
I tried. I voted for the frog because I felt that this was the reel that has the most consistent work in terms of like percentage of good shots compared to the other reels that we've seen. And I really liked the frogs and the fish shots.
Yeah, okay, awesome. And also my vote goes to. So, even if I vote, we don't have a winner. So we need your vote. We need your vote to win, to have a winner. Okay? Yeah. Because my vote goes to Darren Shab. Which camera? Yeah, this camera. Yeah, because I watched the series and I didn't notice many of those work, except for the face work. I assume it's just a filter or blur, but they gone with a more advanced technique of machine learning. Yeah, also I like the show. It really well executed. Like Cormac work, everything was neat.
That was really well executed.
Yeah, I
the
didn't like
green
the snow, but that's okay. They had enough good work in it. What's your vote, Sherwin?
One more Urbale.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
The frogs have it.
Yeah, we have a winner for episode 2. Urbare.
Nice.
Yeah, approved. Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, so
You should get a big stamp of this made.
yeah, I was looking for the stamps on Amazon. It was like this tiny. Or something. yeah, I need to make a custom one. Cool. So thanks for joining me today for episode 2. That was so cool seeing you all here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And thanks everyone for joining
Welcome.
me. Yeah, do you like to join for the next one?
Maybe if the schedule works out, yeah.
Yeah, cool, awesome. And thanks for watching the video till the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read the comments first and then I'll decide.
Oh, okay. So yeah, mind it in your comments. Okay, so see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, I can practice the pronunciation with you if you want.
Yeah, I would want that.
Yours fine. Yeah, you good?
I think so.
Yeah, you good? You both?
I'm not.
Everyone-
But then I have to give away my
You look a
vote.
bit boring.
A little bit. Say it again. Say it again.
Kurbage. Kur.
Gur.
Gurbage.
Kur.
Grul.
Yeah. Kurbage.
Grulbage.
Yeah. Okay.
You both had the same, like, yeah, good enough.
I'll just say the frog.